Hey everybody, welcome to another game from the defense. This is the lower bracket. It's going to be a best of three series between Na Vi over on the Radiant side, POTM on the Dire side. This is game one. I'm Basket. Looking forward to having people on the stream, I guess. So we will be getting underway in just a second, just waiting for Puppy to load in. Worth noting that Na Vi is playing with their full lineup. They had some stand-ins and stuff over the past couple of weeks due to the WCG Russia, but we'll be getting straight into the pick phase with this shiny new pick interface, which sort of makes sense, but it's a little bit frustrating, especially with how little precedence they've given to the bans, which are really as important as the picks. And so Na Vi will have first ban, therefore they'll have first pick. Puppy's drafting for Na Vi as always, and Fogged for POTM. And I think Hoogaluga is way too sexy, and so Invoker actually the first ban for Na Vi. So Fogged, fairly renowned, I guess is the right way of phrasing it, for his Invoker. And so Darkseer is the ban for POTM, and definitely a hero that has been banned constantly for the past little bit. He's great. Darkseer is an absolutely fantastic hero. He probably makes the most of a hard lane solo of almost any hero right now. A lot of heroes can cope with it, like the Nature's Prophet or Lone Druid, but when it really comes down to it, they have to find some time to make their way back into the game. But the Darkseer, he's not really that fussed with being stuck in the offlane solo. And so Sand King is actually the ban for Na Vi. So we'll see if a lot of what are more typically power heroes, well, power heroes in air quotes, I don't really like the term, but you have to call them something. All of the first pick ban heroes, we'll see if more of them make it through this pool. I mean, it's interesting to see the Invoker ban, but against a really good Invoker player and someone who's quite renowned, then it's always a good choice. And it's a similar thing to banning out a Chen, really. There are a lot of teams and a lot of games where you just don't see Chen picked or banned at all. Neither team has. I mean, I think almost any team could fit a Chen into their lineup, and you don't necessarily need to have the best micro in the world to make good use of a Chen, but you sometimes just do not see him if there isn't a fairly good Chen player. But speaking of good Chen players, of course, Puppy is just absolutely great on the Chen. So we'll see what ends up being banned. Naga Siren was banned for POTM, and we saw her have a brief stint in a whole bunch of wombo combo lineups and just absolutely ruining teams. And she's great as well with in tri-lanes with either a Leshrac or an AA. Her net is just such a great setup for either the splitter through the cold feet. And so Na Vi actually choose to ban Lycans, so maybe anticipating that PB wouldn't ban him out, and then Na Vi not really wanting to have to pick him up. He can be a little bit of a frustrating hero to put into your own lineup. He needs a couple of minutes to get going, and we've seen games where those couple of minutes can mean pretty much the end of the game, especially with teams going for these more aggressive immediate takedowns on tier 1 towers, especially Radiant side, sort of immediately taking out the tier 1 on top. And so Nature's Prophet is the last ban for POTM. So in terms of big heroes, maybe things that have been quite popular in the recent meta, we've got Templar Assassin makes it through. What else? CK is being quite popular, and Na Vi will actually take Venomancer as their first pickup. So fantastic support. We've seen him play a little bit of a solo role recently as well. So I think I've seen a solo mid Venomancer and a solo hard lane Venomancer. He's not a hero that has a great time in a solo hard lane, but as always, really versatile. Interesting to see. Well, not interesting, but okay, not interesting insofar as I'm going to criticize the pick, but Leshrac is still in the pool, and he fits into pretty much any lineup, and we've seen him pretty much constantly. And I think I would have to eat my own hat if I saw a game where Leshrac was neither picked nor banned, or even if you made it through to the second ban phase. I would be quite surprised. And Fog, just taking a little bit of time on this first pickup, and maybe just reading a little bit into this Venomancer pick. It doesn't really give anything away, but it's an interesting hero to spend your first pick on. So I don't know, maybe trying to psych out Bottom a bit. We'll end up seeing what happens as things do sort of develop. And I am sitting here freezing my ass off in the wonderful, what I think is probably 8-degree Australian winter. But anyway, so Rubik and Broodmother are picked up for PB. So Rubik, just fantastic when you're anticipating, big team fight, big ultimates coming up, and you can't ignore the impact that Nullfield is going to have on something like the Poison Nova. And so here we go. Tidehunter and Tinker picked up for Na Vi. So Tinker likely to be played by Dendi. He plays it so well. It's always really great to see. And Broodmother, Tinker is a great counter to Broodmother. I mean, Broodmother, the big thing with her is that you sort of put her in a side lane, leave her solo, and then as soon as your opponents are forced to leave that lane, then Broodmother can just pick up pretty much free towers. But when you've got the global mobility afforded to you by the Tinker, he can just pop in, drop off a march. If the Spiderlings don't immediately retreat, well, free farm for Tinker. And so yeah, it's a fantastic pickup for Na Vi. And also the Tidehunter. Tidehunter is probably one of a few heroes that can handle a solo Broodmother as a solo himself. And bottom off to pick up Enigma as well, so some push and some fantastic team fight for them as well. Not the team giving away too much in terms of lanes right now. I think Na Vi would really like to run the Tide maybe solo against the Broodmother, but Broodmother can really lane anywhere, so we'll see if we see things shuffling around. So Morphling is the ban right now by Na Vi, and definitely something that could have fit into the bottom lineup, and especially against a hero at really squishy heroes like Tinker and Venomancer. The Morphling can just be an absolute pain in the ass. I mean, Tinker, I think if you don't end up getting any, I think if you have like a couple of branches, maybe once you finished your Tread, Soul Ring, and Force Stick, you've probably got less than 1,000 HP, even at probably level 12 or something like that. So Syllabear is the ban right now for Autumn. So, and the big thing with a Tinker is that it's always really nice to get something like get a Chen or a Syllabear or something that can give you a target to reliably TP to in team fights. You don't want to have to rely on creeps. They're not always going to be there. The creep wave might get wiped out. The creeps may just wander straight into a gank, and so it's always great to have something that you can reliably teleport onto. So it'll be interesting to see if Na Vi choose to grab something like maybe the Beastmaster, affords them a little bit more team fight, some more counter push. Ultimate can go through BKB, so it's a good way to deal with an Enigma if he's able to get some farm. And so Queen of Pain is the ban for Na Vi. And we've been seeing a lot more Quap recently. Casting my mind back maybe a couple of weeks, we weren't seeing too much of her, but she's been picked up quite a lot recently. And I'm not sure how Potom tend to run the Rubik. we've seen a whole bunch of different styles of Rubik since he's been added to CM. I think we've seen some support Rubiks, which maybe haven't worked out so crash hot for teams. We've seen a lot of solo mid Rubiks played by Bulba and Sing Sing and guys like that, which have worked out really, really well. And so Chen is actually the last ban for POTM. So getting rid of two heroes that give Tinker a reliable target to TP to. So Navi could go for the Beastmaster, but then it does sort of limit their lanes a little bit. Maybe they could just send him towards the middle lane, or they could put Tinker mid. Really, I think I'm just being a little bit thinking too much about recent Tinker games and just seeing him in tri lanes or on the safe lane, which does definitely work well. So both teams quite flexible in terms of lanes right now. I mean, we're likely to see Enigma to head towards the jungle, I think, but again, he can take a hard lane solo. He can even put it Enigma mid, and so neither team really giving too much away just yet. And Puppy just taking a bit of time with this first pickup, and so Windrunner is taken. So Windrunner always fits into pretty much any lineup. I don't think she's ever a wrong choice. I mean, can you go wrong with a Windrunner? No. Is she always the best choice? Well, probably not either, but it's a hero that we see Navi play a lot, and she's got potential throughout the entire game, and sort of the underappreciated ulti, I guess, the Focus Fire, can give you some good late game damage if you're able to pick up something like, well, just anything, something like an MKB if you finished up your Guinsoo and Force Staff, anything like that. So another really versatile hero for Navi. And Shadow Shaman taken right now from POTM. So looking like a really, really strong push right now for them. They've got the Broodmother, they've got the Eidolons from Enigma, they've got Rosta's wards. If they run him as a solo, those are going to be up super quickly. And there isn't really a response to them on Navi. They've got enough counter push to deal with the Spiderlings and the Eidolons, but against a really concentrated push like the Shadow Shaman wards, there's not a whole lot for them to do. And Enchantress is the last pickup for Navi, so looks like they're going to be playing a really early, quite aggressive style here. And in terms of lanes, I'm not sure what we'll see. We might see maybe Tinker takes the safe lane, Windrunner could take mid, and then tri-lane formed of Venno and Tide with an aggressive Enchantress jungle. There's all sorts of ways that they could put this together, and so PB still have the option to maybe choose something that choose a little bit of late game insurance. So pick the CK, maybe play him in a farmier role. You could pick the Clinks. He's always fantastic against Tinker. You can just sort of lay in wait. And so Bounty Hunter would have been the next thing I say. I promise I'm not lying to make it look like I can actually predict the draft. But Bounty Hunter is also just fantastic against Tinker. It's a hero that I really enjoy seeing played, especially since he just gives your team so much free gold. And the best thing about him in a pushing lineup is that when you're up against pushes, you always need to decide, well, do we take the team fight and risk losing the team fight and then we're going to lose the tower regardless, and or do we decide, okay, well, we'll give up the tower because they have stronger team fight. But with the Bounty Hunter, if they choose to take the team fight and you can win it, I mean, especially if you can land a good black hole, or Rubik manages to steal something big like maybe a March of the Machines or even the Ravage. I mean, he's really unlikely to steal Ravage, but it would absolutely tip these team fights. And so the Bounty Hunter lets you make the most of any advantage that you can get, or any team fight wins that you can grab. So while we're paused, I'll just run over very quickly who's playing what. So over on bottom, we've got Snaking playing the Bounty Hunter. We've got Tides of Time on the Enigma. Aoi 2000 is going to be playing the Broodmother. Fogged is going to be playing the Rubik. And that leaves Hoogalooga Booga, so way too sexy, playing the Shadow Shaman. Over on Navi, we've got Light of Heaven playing the Tide Hunter. Artsart or Smile playing the Venomancer. Havas playing the Windrunner. So Dendi on the Tinker. And that leaves Puppy to play Enchantress. And I am currently freezing to death, so I'm going to turn the heat up ever so slightly. So I will be right back. Okay, that's a little bit better. Oh, and for once, maybe I'll remember to put my overlay up. And just a few shoutouts as we wait for this pause. So again, what do we got? Lane prediction wise, I do think it's fairly likely that we'll see. Okay, it's likely that we're going to see Enchantress in the jungle. That's just a stupid thing to say, but what they'll do with it is going to be the interesting thing. Whether they just try and, well, they really want to put the Tide Hunter up against the Broodmother. So how they run their other lanes is going to be interesting. And Navi just immediately pick up items, and looks like they'll be heading down into their own jungle as bottom decide to form up and move into their jungle. So I don't know if we're going to be seeing any action for this first little bit of the game. Let's see if items might just give away who's playing where, and not really the availability of a bottle rush on Dendi, so not sure if he'll be heading towards mid. Quite a bit of regen on Havas, so he might be taking the hard lane. So it may just be a Windrunner on the hard lane solo, Dendi soloing mid, and then a bit of an aggressive pushy tri-lane down on bottom formed between Light of Heaven, Puppy, and Artsart. But I really do think that they're going to be trying to position that lane up against wherever the Broodmother is, but Aoi not giving away anything just yet. Actually, no, he has used his first web, so it looks like he's going to be up on the safe lane on top. So, and Fogged looks like he's going to be heading towards that middle lane. Tides of Time will be in the jungle. He's got 4 clarities right now. And that might leave the Bounty Hunter to move down towards that bottom lane as the just as the hard lane solo, and it's a lane the Bounty Hunter can handle, really. And bottom just really setting up to protect the Broodmother up on top lane. Artsart, it's way too sexy, needs to be careful. It gets slowed, but the Venomous Gale doesn't hit, so he'll be just fine right now. And now he's just sitting behind Havas up on this top lane right now. And is there a ready anti-invis bird just yet? So Puppy has some sentries. We're going to see this little bit of a tri-lane right now. Light of Heaven's going to be soloing bot against Snaking. So melee versus melee. Top lane's really going to be the spot to watch. And what? Navi will actually deward that camp. So well played by PB trying to grab it, but unfortunately, Sentry Ward probably just spotted it out. Tides of Time will just be heading into jungle. Looks like a little bit of a go already by Na Vi. They've got the Centaur, and everybody's just walking. And way too sexy. Looks like he's actually trapped. We'll try and tango out, but he's taking a lot of right-click damage. Great deny by Aoi. Fantastic. Smile taking a lot of damage from the tower, and he'll actually go down here. Aoi taking quite a bit of damage. Havas pops the Windrun, comes back into tower range. Tides of Time, pop the Clarity, does get cancelled. So a kill going each way, but way too sexy, being denied by Aoi. So fantastic play, really. And it reminds me of, oh god, what was that that game where I think the first 3 kills of the game were all denied just to some poor Venomancer. Middle lane, Fog's probably getting a little bit better of this, because slightly better animation and than the Tinker, and until Tinker can start getting some levels up, the Fade Bolt spam is really gonna hurt. But as I say that, Dendi actually has 4 denies on Fog, same number of last hits, but
regeneration.
up on top lane, they're really hurting from that dive and not managing to quite get off the first blood. And those Spiderlings may actually finish off Artside. He's down to 10 HP. He does tango up, so he'll be fine. Time to time, just staying close to the lane right now. And Puppy moves a little bit deeper into the jungle, but only grabs a Solsteel, so it's just going to be looking to harass Fogged on the middle lane. He doesn't really have that much mana anyway, so yeah. That's all gone. So well played by Puppy, but just trying to be annoying. Really would have preferred to find something else. And he's immediately back onto the top lane, but the tri lane not really finding what they want. Bottom have dedicated the resources up here to help deal with it. So down in bottom lane, Snaking's picked up a bottle. Light of Heaven is 14 for 4, while Snaking is 14 for 2. So mid lane and bottom lane both quite evenly matched right now. Yep. So Fog still no denies, but keeping up to Dendi in terms of last hits, and that's really the important thing. And I'll just pull up last hits denies for the early game. And whether I remember to change it to something important for late game is going to be interesting. And sorry guys, if anybody is actually watching, it looks like I got some frame drop in there. So Australian internet, not my best friend, but I think it's cleared up now. So just tell me if it happens again, and I'll see what I can do. Havas actually harassing a bit now. Pops the windrun and is under the tower. Tides of Time actually maybe a little bit out of position. Needs to be careful. And Dendi's got a haster and he comes up. Malphus done on him. Venomous Gale, not quite. Dendi still just right-clicking away. Way too sexy. Will he get shackled? Yes, he will. I think he'll go down here. One last right-click from Havas. Aui's back behind here. Spiderlings trying to do as much as they can. Havas doesn't have any mana for anything. And looks like he will go down here. Aui still wants him. Oh, he's not fast enough. And Havas now has enough mana for a wind run, but will he run straight into Fogged? Goes off to the side. Spiderling's actually just chasing him around, and there we go. Fogged manages to pick up that last Fade Bolt for the kill. So I managed to get a little bit of time alone with this top lane, so trying to get some levels and trying to recover from that early death. And Aui's coming straight back up. Already level 5, so Artside's not gonna have a fun time against this spawn Spiderling spam. It looks like Aui's just gonna try and right click him. Venomous Gale doesn't find him, so he may actually go down here. Yep, there we go. Last little bit of damage.
You're not afraid of spiders, are you?
And Na Vi, they dedicated a lot to this top lane, but they didn't find what they wanted, and Puppy's actually just gonna head into the jungle right now, the Radiant jungle. And Havas is down on bottom lane, so bit of a swap up right now. Just gonna put that Tidehunter up against the Broodmother. Use the Anchor Smash to farm the Spiderlings, keep the towers safe, and shift your attention to other lanes. They're not finding the exchanges that they wanted up on top lane. And Havas still has his Bassi on, so he's looking to push down on bottom, and there's not a whole lot that Bounty Hunter's able to do to stop him. So
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
the unfortunate thing about having last hits denies on, when there's a Broodmother on the map, those Spiderlings just completely padded out. So maybe I'll just switch over to total gold earned. Yeah, there we go. It's probably a little bit more instructive. So Fogged picked up what looks to be the 6-minute rune. So it's a DD. taking a little bit of damage from the march, but he's still got 3 bottle charges, so he'll be fine. Dendi is 29 for 7, Fog is 31 for 5. That gank up on top lane by Dendi, while it was successful, just pulled him away and let Fog grab a little bit more. And Snaking actually heading up towards middle lane right now is level 6. Fog telekinesis back. Fog actually taking quite a bit of damage, but Dendi as well. One last right click is all they need, and the track bonus gold as well for that kill. Meanwhile, Bottom are pushing up on this top lane. Light of Heaven pops the Ravage, side of time, a little bit of trouble. Gush on him, Shackle Shot actually latches. Malif is stun up, but looks like it immediately got Kraken. Way too sexy. Considering coming back, Power Shot flies from Havas. Fog still just farming up on mid lane, and I think he's definitely got the better of this. And Snake look for another kill down on bottom lane. Puppy trying to heal up Artsart, uses the tornado as well, but Snakey manages to pick up that kill. Track on Puppy, I don't know if he's going to be able to get him now. And Puppy's still in level 4, but Snaking level 7 right now. Doesn't have enough mana to make it go. And that bottom tier 1 did go down, but as I say that, Light of Heaven dies up on top lane. So bottom extend their lead to 3 kills. Fortification pops down on 10 health. Will they be able to deny this? No. Tides of Time manages to pick up the last hit. And now he just keeps spawning Spiderlings, keep on trucking. Fogged on middle lane hasn't really given away what he's going to be building into, but as I say that, picks up an energy booster, so we'll just grab those mana boots. And has that haste, so Na Vi needs to be careful as they try and grab a bit back in this game. But as I say that, they don't really have the late game. I mean, probably the biggest late game here on the map right now. It's probably a toss up between the Broodmother and the Tinker, and even then, Dendi is not having a fantastic game. He's got his Soul Ring, 1 death, 1 assist, so not doing too badly. 44 last hits, and looks like Na Vi will be making a little bit of a push on this middle lane. Fog needs to be careful. There's a lot of heroes here. Gush slow on him, but Na Vi just here for the tower and trying to draw attention away from the other lanes. Eidolon's moving from the side. Tower still taking quite a bit of damage. Way too sexy in here as well. And Tides of Time just waiting up on the high ground. He does have that black hole, but Light of Heaven has Ravage in 7 seconds as well. It's quite a bit of a tense team fight right now. But here we go, Bottom coming from the side. Artsar takes a lot of damage, and they do manage to get another track kill off there. Na Vi on the retreat, rockets pop from Dendi. Light of Heaven wants this Ravage though. Shackle flies onto the Spiderling, doesn't find anyone. Thinking, finds a Illyroon, and he really needed that mana. And Dendi heads down, wanted the rune, not able to find it. Snaking's already got it. And Owlie's just farming away on this top lane. Na Vi dedicated a lot of resources to trying to shut him down, but he's still just. They managed to win this top lane, and it's a big blow to Na Vi right now. Fog steals the power shot. Fantastic shackle shot from Havas, but it looks like Fog will be able to get away. What rank is that shackle? So, rank 2 shackle shot. And Na Vi, they still want this middle tower, but 4 heroes are here for bottom. And Dendi just trying to farm up those travels. We're already up to minute 12, so not slow, but he's still got a little way to go. And they're gonna need them. They need to be able to respond to this Broodmother without just sending the tide there constantly. Way too sexy. How's he doing? Obviously playing that 5th role as the Rasta, so it doesn't have very much farm. Shackle shot flies into Fog. Does not find a connection point though. And Aito just spamming out these wards. They still really want this tower, but he needs to be careful. Down on 200 HP. And Power Shot Fade Bolt. It's a lot of ranged nuke to have on one hero. And Snake King will manage to find this 12-minute rune as well, so has a haste. And Light of Heaven still just forced to be up on this top lane, dealing with the Broodmother. Looks like, yeah, heading towards a hood, so probably picking up a pipe for his team. And realizing that they do probably need to end this game reasonably early. Aui's got some great farm. He's actually going to be heading towards a Manta, so that's going to give him even better pushing. And while an Orchid would have been helpful against a lot of Navi's heroes, I can definitely agree with it. And it's going to be such a pain for Navi to deal with this Broodmother. And immediately, as soon as the Tidehunter leaves, that's when the push happens. And wards pop down by way too sexy. They're trying to keep this tower up as long as they can. Snake King's in here. Is there any anti-invis left? There's still sentry wards on Puppy. Snake King needs to be careful. Way too sexy. Just moving forward a little bit. Fogged. Here we go. Artsite gets pulled back. Telekinesis. Malphite stun. Power shot on him as well. He does go down. Puppy getting right clicked by Snake King. Taking a lot of damage. And the Rosto shackle on him. Voss still here, but 2 kills for Potom. And they should be able to turn this into a mid push. Meanwhile, Aoi up on top lane pops the ultimate. Right clicking on Light of Heaven. But he should be fine just now. Retreats back to the safety of his tower. And Dendi going down to Snake King off to the side. And he's doing exceptionally well. 3 kills, 2 assists. Has his drum and phase boots up already. And he had a fantastic time down in that bottom lane. It has it to say, Potom won all 3 of their lanes. They did exactly what they needed to up top. It was melee versus melee down bottom, so there wasn't a whole lot Light of Heaven could do to stop Snake King farming and vice versa. So, and Fog has picked up a 4-staff, so his farm is going really well. And there's nothing that Navi can do right now about this bounty hunter. He's level 11. Puppy only level 6. Pops off the wisps. Should be able to keep him alive for a little bit longer, but does finish him with that last Janata DD hit. And just immediately heads down towards bottom lane. Dendi is close to his travels. Needs to be careful. Then this is going to be an easy dive for Snake King. And Tides of Time is here as well. Malphite done. Dendi going to go down in about 2 hits. And Potom extend their lead to 9 kills. I don't even want to look at the gold graph. 4k gold, the difference. 7.5k XP. Potom are just in such a commanding position this game. So, Fog just trying to get this tower. And Potom probably not as many towers as I would expect, but they've just been reacting really well to Navi's movements all around the map. And that kill on Dendi just sets his travels back even further. And we're getting up to minute 15 right now. And he's losing farming space constantly. Snake King is just back behind these towers, keeping the Navi heroes chased off. And we'll see. Will Puppy will be able to deny this tower? No, it's not quite enough damage, and Snake King will just kill the Wildkin. No, it doesn't manage to kill the Wildkin. I was going to say kill the Wildkin for its insolence, but a little bit of action happening on the top lane. Ravage popped, Fogged in trouble, shackled to the tree. Huge duration shackle, 4-staffs himself forward, turns around, power shot. Light of Heaven still wants him, but a great black hole from Tides of Time. Avos goes down, Light of Heaven still trapped, tries to just TP out. Will he be able to? No. Power shot and the damage from Aoi will manage to finish him up. And 4 heroes dead for Navi with nothing in return. This is just looking worse and worse for them every minute. And what's flying out right now? Completed Manta style for Broodmother. 60 minutes into the game. She's just a pushing machine with that Manta. And Snake King already level 13. 7.7k gold earned. I mean, the track gold, you can just see it in the total gold earned right now. It's absolutely ridiculous. And hero level, I mean, look at that discrepancy. 1 level 13 and 2 level 12s for Potom with only 2 level 10s on Navi. I'm not feeling very optimistic right now for Navi. Boots of Travel are finished up for Dendi. They can not really have enough mana to to connect that gank, but just trying to keep Dendi scared. And a dominated illusion on mid lane, but here we go. Fog jumps forward, telekinesis straight into the shackle, and last little bit of damage. Not a track kill, but going down too quickly to cast it anyway. And bottom just completely have this game by the reins right now. Puppey not able to do anything. He's finished up his buckler, so that's helpful, I guess. Light of Heaven does almost have his pipe, but there's just nothing that they can do about the right-click damage from the Bounty Hunter. And bottom will just head straight into Roshan. Roster wards are popped down. Eidolons are here. Spiderlings will be in here in a sec to tank it up. And there's nothing that Navi can do. It's just an easy way for bottom to extend their lead without having to push down any towers. And yep, Roshan just about dead. And there's just nothing that Navi can do about it. I mean, if they're going to get back into this game, it's going to be by Dendi getting a couple of items up and really finding some key team fights. Maybe, I don't know, it's going to take everybody being stunned, all of bottom being stunned by Ravage inside a double march to really do enough damage to stop them now. I mean, Dendi needs to be careful. He can TP out. And Snaking finds Puppey again. And he's finished up his Deso, so his damage is absolutely ridiculous right now. And now we're just right-clicking on Artsart. Venomous Gale doesn't find him. And looks like he's just going to try and TP home. Bottom are heading in. He's going to try and slow down Light of Heaven. Pops the ultimate. Snaking's coming in as well. Needs to be careful. Good shackle. And a Ravage pops as well. They just want to get out right now. And Fog managing to steal the Ravage. No time for Light of Heaven to cover it. So this next team fight is going to be absolutely huge. And the black hole is almost up. 10 seconds. BKB purchased for Tides of Time. So there's absolutely nothing on Navi that can cancel it. And I think this is just about GG. It's like bottom will just go for an all-in push. They've got Ravage, Navi don't. They've got a black hole. Force that forward by Fog. Pulls Smile back into the fights and Snaking. Just doing a huge amount of damage. And the Desolator just shreds the towers as well. Light of Heaven moves forward, but there's no Ravage, and Fog moves straight in, pops his Ravage. Havas in trouble. Great black hole on 2. Havas goes down as well. Dendi off to the side, pops down the march, but he's already pretty much out of mana. And the tower goes down as well. 4 heroes dead, and GG is called, so there we go. Navi, they dedicated so much to that tri-lane on top and they just couldn't find anything. And then by the time they went to switch things up, Bounty Hunter was already roaming around the map. Again, and picking up kills, and Puppey and Artsart just weren't able to do that much. And you can just see the progression of the Broodmother all the way down this lane. I mean, I don't think she had to leave the lane at all, and it's constant pressure. And unless you can make something of the fact that bottom would have been taking team fights 4v5, then there's not a whole lot that Navi could do. And so that's game 1 over for bottom versus Navi. This is a best of 3 series for the lower bracket of the defense. The loser will be knocked out, and just displaying this ever so lovely score screen glitch right now where I'm level 22 and 222 battle points. But anyway, I've been Baseskip, and I will be back soon with game 2 of this series. And I hope you guys